up innovation year is about key learnings during the sprint. Prabhas, are you there? Can you present your presentation?
Actually, I couldn't hear you. I connected. Yes.
Sorry?
No. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Continue.
Present you. Are you at the position to present your presentation at the moment?
Yes. Actually, I can present my presentation.
Okay. Can you just kick off your presentation then?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll start. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Can you share my screen?
Yeah.
So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Sure. So, good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to present you about deploying sales up to the Heroku, which means we can deploy our project to the Heroku app and create a statement link. Then, after the interaction, I'll guide you through the process of deploying sales with application to Heroku. Heroku is a user-friendly platform, makes it easy for developers to host and scale their apps. So, Heroku is a cloud platform that simplifies the deployment and management of web applications. Heroku support multiple programming Node.js, Vue.js, Ruby, and Python. Likewise, so it provides a marketplace of add-ons where you can add some add-ons, paid add-ons and the free add-ons. You can add. Also, it leverages Git for easy deployment. So you can connect Git to the Heroku, and then you can simply push the code to Heroku and then possibly deploy your app. Then I'll show you the process of creating this. First, you need to create a pipeline in Heroku. Login will be like this, and after login, you can create a pipeline here. Then you can add the pipeline name. As a best practice, you can rename it as a name and the language you are using. Then you can connect Git repository to create a pipeline. You can see the GitHub repository here. Then you can search your project and connect it to the GitHub. Then after connecting it, you can create a new application. Here we are connecting green staging app. So after creating it, you can create a new app. After creating the new app, your dashboard will look like this. Then overview, resources, deployment, settings also there. And after that, you have to go to the Git repository to merge QA branch to master branch, which means you can deploy your you can add your master branch to the Git to the QA master branch. Then you can merge it to the Heroku, which here you have to then you can make sure you have master branches updated with QA, and you have to then pull request from the master branch. Updating migrate method to alter to save in model.js file. Here you can change it here. Normally it comes as a alter method, then you can change it to save method. After that, the package.json file, you can update this deploy script. Then in this example, we are going to create a deploy branch using the updated master branch. Then you can go to your terminal and run sales run deploy command on your terminal. after running this deploy command, you can see the deploy branch has been created on Git link, Git in your Git branch. The new deploy branch is created. Then go back to the Heroku login, and you can select deploy branch here. And first, as a then select the deploy branch and enable automatic deploys in the deploy tab. Then you can create, you can deploy the branch. First, you have to enable automatic deploys, and then you can select the Dino type and resources tab. Here we are choosing basic one, and we are simply deactivate it anytime. So we are using the $7 month basic package resources. After that, you can here we install Redis Enterprise Cloud as a cloud memory storage to store data. And after that, then we can deploy the selected branch in view staging link. First time you have to add the manual deployment. After that, when you are updating the deploy branch from your terminal, running the sales run deploy command, it will be automatically deployed to the deploy branch. Then you can update it as I mentioned previously. Finally, you have to in here you can see the settings. Then you have to finally you have to update the config variables in settings tab as well below. The Redis cloud URL, you will automatically get it from the Redis install after the installing of Redis. Then you have to custom base URL and the grant also. Grant is only we are using on development stage. Then you have to select the path we are selected. The .www folder will be created on the deploy branch. That's why we are selecting this .www. After that, session URL also the Redis link. Sales socket you can update as per below, and the sales socket URL also the Redis cloud URL. You can add the time zone as Asia column. Finally, then your sales deployment staging link will be created. Thank you for listening my presentation.
Thank you,
That's
Prabhat.
it.
So, according to our agenda, next presentation will be about how to send emails via APIs and how to use Ajax form and Strapi APIs to create a contact as well. Nuan, can you please kick off your presentation?
Yes, Kanchi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Kanchi, is it visible?
Yeah, no, go on.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Today presentation is about how to create contact us component using Ajax form and Strap. So, why we use Ajax form? Using Ajax with Bootstrap forms offers several benefits. It makes the website more interactive by allowing user to load content without refreshing the entire page. So it provides real-time validation and instant feedback to users, enhancing their experience. Additionally, it reduces the server load by only sending necessary data, which improves efficiency. So in simple terms, Ajax and Bootstrap together make your web application more dynamic, user-friendly, and efficient. Okay, let's see how to do this from real-world example. This is a contact us Ajax form I've created for a hotel website. There are several attributes in Ajax form. Here we use action. It's calling the action where API calls are having, and syncing. It used to indicate whether the form is currently in the process of submitting data. And this variable will be synchronized with the syncing attribute of the Ajax form component. Next, the cloud error. It tracks whether there was an error during the form submission. In submitted, this is an event handler that calls the submitted form method when the form is successfully submitted. It passes an event object as an argument. As the final, the handle passing, it specifies a method, handle passing form, to handle form data passing. Inside the form, for each field, name, email, phone number, message, we are using input fields and vModel for each. vModel is a directive used in Vue.js for two-way data binding, connecting the input fields value to the form data object. For example, this vModel equal form data name links the input value to the name property of the form data object. Here in class used for conditional CSS classes, if there are validation errors, is invalid class is added to the input element to highlight errors. After all these 4 fields, there is a Ajax button here. It is used for submitting the form via Ajax. It is disabled when syncing is true. Let's check the pages that contains properties and methods. Here in data, we keep all the objects and variables we use. Here in methods, we initialize the 2 methods we mentioned earlier, handle passing and submitted form. When getting to handle passing form, this method is called when the form is being passed before submission, and it clears any pre-existing error messages. It checks the form data for required fields like name, email, phone, and message, and sets error flags in form errors if any of these fields are missing. If there are validation errors, it cancels the form submission while returning undefined. And if no errors are found, it returns the form data for submission. In submitted form, this method is called when the form submission is complete, and it receives a results parameter containing information about the form submission. In here, if there are no errors, it sets the save flag to true. Save flag to true, indicating a successful submission, and clears the form fields. If there are errors, it sets the cloud error flag to true and save to false to indicate an error occurred. let's have a look into post-contact action we called inside the Ajax form. Here are the input parameters that this action expects when it's called. So in function, we use the Axios library to send post request to remote API endpoint. And the Axios request includes a custom header with an authorization token from custom.js. So this function handles the Axios response using a promise, extracting the response data if the request is successful. So if there's an error, it logs the error and returns the empty string. So finally, it returns a response to the caller indicating whether the contact inquiry was successful or not. So if successful error is set to false. So that's how the post requests get done using Ajax form and Strapi. But this is not the ending in here. So when a customer sends a request, an email when a customer sends a request, an email should send to the site owner. So in that case, we call a custom sales helper function to send an email. So in here, the contact inquiry data is passed to the helper. So in this helper input parameters, the type is set to ref, which means it can accept any data type. So when getting to the function, here the actual email sending logic is implemented. So it logs the data received in the data input parameter, and it creates an HTML template for the email. The template contains placeholders for each data, email, name, phone number, likewise. So the placeholders are replaced with the actual data from the data object or with the dashes if the data is missing somehow. So here the function sets up a node mailer transporter to send email. The transporter is configured to use the Gmail SMTP server with provided authentication details. It sets up the email message, mail options, with the sender's name, email recipient, email recipient email, and the subject, and the HTML template as the email body. So it sends the email using the transporter.sendMail function. If there is an error during sending, it logs the error and returns false. Or if successfully sent, it logs the confirmation message and return true. And this process is wrapped in a promise, and the results are collected using promise.all. So after sending the email and resolving the promise, it returns and exits with the status indicating whether the email was successfully sent. So if any errors occur during the email sending process, they are caught and the status is set to false. So that's the way of sending the email using our helper. So let's see how these things actually work. So this is the user interface of Contact Us component. First we keep empty the fields and click send now. So it indicates errors. You can see the fields highlighted with red color. Then we fill the fields with actual data and click send now. So it successfully sends the data to the backend. Here we can see. Here we can see the record. And it sends the email as well. And display the successful message. As thank you, we will contact you shortly. So that's all about the presentation, and thank you.